Are you wanting to see if your player is above a threshold and maybe heading into overtraining? Well, in this Power BI for Sports Science tutorial, I will show you how, so stay tuned. If this is your first time watching any of my videos, make sure you hit like and subscribe below so you are notified of any future content. So let's get going straight away. If you're looking to see if a player is over a threshold, there's a couple of options you have. One of them generally would be to use conditional formatting, and you can create a formula to say if the value is above a certain amount, give me this color, and so on. But in the scenario of a combo chart, you can't actually apply conditional formatting to a line or the markers of a line. So unfortunately, you only have the colors from the data picker, the color picker. And even if you come into here, you still only have the color picker and you don't have the ability to customize or conditionally format using a formula. So one of the options you do have is to create a couple of extra lines for your graph or your visual. So let's just go into tabular editor here, and I'm just going to create a new measure, and I'm just going to go and call this ACWR warning, and we're just going to put that at 1.2, and then we'll create another measure. Oh, didn't want to do that there. We'll create another measure here, and we'll call this ACWR too high, and we'll call that at 1.5. And then the last one we'll do is a too low value. So let's go ACWR too low. And we're just going to put that at 0.8. So now what we can do is we have all of these measures pop up in our data model. And so we can just add them to our graph. So if we add too low, warning, and too high. And then what you can do is you can adjust your colors for these. So if we go into colors, we've got too low. Let's just give that a blue color. We've got a warning, let's give that a yellow, and we've got a high, which is red. And we'll make sure we've got that too. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create it so that our data for a given point or given value is a dotted line. We'll make the dotted line a little bit thicker. Yeah, that should be better. Oh, need to stay in shapes. And then we're going to customize by series, and we're going to show the markers for our other series. So, oh, I didn't want it for TDA-CWR. So for too low, we're going to add a marker, and you could get rid of that, for example. But we might do this the other way around because it'll be a little bit clearer. So if we leave our markers on for everything else, and then for TDA-CWR, we can have our markers and we can get rid of our line. Just like that. And we can change the shape of our marker to say a triangle if we wanted. And we can make the marker just a little bit bigger. Just like that. Need to just change the size of our too low value. Let's just create them so they are just a little bit smaller. And then what we'll do is we'll also just change our axis for our secondary axis values. And we're going to just change that to 0.5. So we've got a little bit more of a spread, and we can change this one to say 1.8. So now you can see a little bit clearer what's going on. The only last thing you need to do is then change the color of your bar in the background, and we'll just change that to a lighter color as well. What you could do is just go to a gray color, so it's still there, but you can just like lightly see it, or you can choose just the color that matches your team's colors, like red or whatever it might be. So with that, what you can do is you can add these measures to each of your figures and then do the same thing. So if we change this one to 1.8 and 0.5, on our secondary axis. And then data colors, we're going to change to light red. Too high is going to be light red. And then we're going to have our warning at a light yellow and our too low at the light blue and gray. And then we can change our shapes as well. So we'll make sure that our stroke width is 3 and we want it to be dotted, and then we can customize series here. And for player load, we can get rid of our line and show markers. Change them to a triangle and make them one size bigger. We'll just make this one color shade darker. I think I used this side. That's too light. Okay, we'll go with that. So there we can see there's a few values that pop in above. If we hide everything a little better, you can see it's a little bit higher on some. At no point at this scenario where we are above. If we go all the way back, you can see at the start we do fall obviously above our values. You can see here that my upper limit did not stick around. I must have accidentally deleted it. Here we go, 1.8. There we go. And then now you can see those. So let's just go ahead and we'll change these last two as well. To save us some time, what I'm going to do is just delete both of these, and then we can change our layouts again soon. And then we'll just change our values to match what we need here. So we just need band 5 distance, and then acute chronic band 5 into here. And then all we need to do is just change shapes. Which, oh, I did have the right thing. So let's go 0 and show a marker. Change it to a triangle. There we go. And then the same at the bottom one here. This time we're going to have band 7, and we're going to have band 7 distance. There we go. And then again, just change our shape so that we have our triangles one size bigger, and then change this to 0 stroke length. There we go. So let's just change the size of our figures again with our date. And then we have our images. What you can then do is you can change these line values, or you can even change the name of your measure. So if we change that, we'll go rename and we'll just call this too high. And on each one you'll see that that value changes to too high. We'll change this one to too low. And then our last one we will change to just called warning. There we go. And then what you can do is change the name here so that it comes up as just acute chronic workload. What that'll do is change it just for the figure of the visual, and it won't change it within your data model. So just like that. Awesome. So then the next thing we can do is we can play around with our cards. So we already know here that we have this value for a 28-day chronic load. Are we sure that's right? We're not too sure yet, so let's go ahead and do this. What you can do is just add your TD 28 day as a tooltip. And then if you hover over, you can see there on the last day, that is the value that we had. So 37,511. Awesome. So if we get rid of that, we can then just adjust our card a little bit, we can add a few things. If you wanted to, you can add a border, you can add some shadows. What we might do is do that within a background that we can import as a picture. So what we can do is just call this chronic 28-day load, or you can just call it chronic load. What we'll do is we'll include the metric type within our background, which we will create soon. So we've got this here. You can make it however you want to fit in, and then what you could do is just copy this for each of your visuals here. And then let's just change this to match each of those measures, or those metrics that we've got. Band 5, and then band 7. Cool. And then now what we might want to do is we might want to create some custom formatting. So if we were to do that, we can change the background color as an example. So what you can do is just click on the FX for function, and when it loads up, you can create either a color scale, or you can create a set of rules that are fixed based on your values. So if it's minimum to, let's just say like 25, we'll say that's too low, and we'll stick with the same color we had before with a light blue. And when I say 25, I mean 25,000. And then from 25,000 to, let's just say 30,000, we can add that as a green as though it's okay. From a 30 to, let's say 37,500, we'll add that as a warning, and then 37,500, and then you can make this whatever you want, but it just needs to be higher than what you've got, and you can make that a red. And then you have your first conditionally formatted card. If you were then to change your date, you should be able to see if it's any different. If we go back further, you'll see there's some warnings. So what we might do is we can change this slightly, because we know that our values are quite high here. So if we change this to say 40, this to 40, this to 35, and then that should be pretty good. There you go. You can do the same thing with each of your other values, rules, and we can create a couple of rules here. So let's say if they're below 2000, that we're going to give them our blue color. If they're above 2000 but below 2750, we'll give them our green. If they're above 2750 and above 3250 in this scenario, let's go with our yellow. 3250. Let's change this to 35. And then whatever you want it to be again, we have our color. Same here. Let's make this one a little bit bigger. So we'll have 1000 as our light blue. We'll go from 1000 to let's go 1500 as our green, 1500 to 2000 as our yellow, and 2000 to whatever we want. Done. And last one, let's add that in. Rules. This one will just go, let's go 350 is blue. 350 to 600 is green. 600 to 900 is yellow, and 900 plus is red. Okay, so there's some cards. You can do the same thing and include your acute chronic on the side here if you wanted, and that's just one method of coloring. When I go away after this video, I'll add in some acute chronic cards on the side here so that we can see that. So now that we have those, you could do these with a measure and create it based off, say for example, 2.5 times their game load or something similar to that for a given week. That would give you more of a, I guess, a relative or an individualized loading difference. So then you can see if a player is too high based on what they can actually do in a game. That would be one really good method rather than having an absolute value, because obviously all your players are going to be different. So having a little bit of an individualized piece would be really important. And the last thing we're going to do is I'm just going to show you a quick way of creating a background. So I'm just going to screen snip my workbook here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up a PowerPoint. And then what you can do is just, when this opens up, we'll just create a blank presentation. And then the size of my page is I guess a full HD page. So what you can do to get that is you can just go 1920 times or 1920px and it'll change it. And then 1080px. And it'll change it into centimeters. Click OK. What you can do is delete these off the background and then just paste on your screenshot and then just fill it into the page there, just like that. So then all you need to do then is create what you would like to do here. So for example, we can create this as our player report, for example. We can change the size of our text. We can change the font if we like to whatever we like. And then let's make it bold. And then the other things you can do is you can create shapes around your figures. So this is one way just to add a little bit of, I guess, color or anything like that to your background, just to make it a little bit different. So for example, I'm going to change this to being a red color. It's close enough. Or I can use my eyedropper. There we go. And then I can drop these underneath. The best thing about this is you can create your layout and then adjust it within Power BI as well. So you can always adjust where your figures are actually sitting. So we can align these left and then distribute vertically. There we go. And then what we can do is we can also add some shape effects. Let's just add a little bit of a shadow to the bottom right, just like that. And then we can also just change slightly, ever so slightly, our transparency. Let's just go 20%. And then what we'll do is, last thing is change our outline. And let's just go with black. And then what we'll do is we'll also just create a couple of these for our cards as well. And all they need to be is quite small. Okay, there we go. So now we have that. What you can do is delete your screenshot in the background and then go File, Save As, and then wherever you're wanting to put this. So I'm just going to put this into my Downloads folder. I'm going to save it as a PNG and call it Training Load Background. Save that, and we just want to save the one slide. And then if I go back to Power BI, I can include this. What you'll see is the rest of my background will change slightly, but I'll fix that up later. We'll go Add Image, we'll go into downloads and training load background. And then if I go fit, everything should fit pretty well. And then all you need to do is select your bar charts in the middle. And apparently it won't let me here. Nope. If you've just got one selected, you can turn off the background, just like that. You can then adjust your colors so that it matches and it fits perfectly, and it looks nice enough. What we'll do for now is we're just going to get rid of that. I'm going to go back to my other normal backgrounds. I need to just find them. Elements, just here. And when you come back next time, I'll make sure this looks really nice and matches based on what we had before. So in the next video, what we'll do is I'll show you the finished page with our newly created background. And then what we'll do is we'll go and create a team summary page so you can have a table with every player on it and all the key metrics that you're looking to look at for your load monitoring dashboard. Again, if you've liked this video, please make sure you hit like and subscribe below and to be notified of the next video when I'm releasing it. And then also if you're creating your own load monitoring dashboard, please make sure you leave a comment below and let me know how that's going. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you next time when we will continue to power performance through data. Thank you.